Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching Prison Break. This is the 4th episode of the 1st season. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just clicking it, put the password in and enjoy. So last episode, Michael and Lincoln had to step their plans up and obviously their escape by trying to recruit his cellmate. Clearly he's not going to be able to do any of the work that he needs to if his roommate is obviously not on board. And you know, they went over to Sucre. They actually planted something to see if they could trust him. So basically Michael carved out a mobile phone out of soap and hid it in kind of an electrical cupboard, and he seen him put it in there. Now Lincoln then is going to told one of the guards that, you know, he knows somebody who's got a phone inside, and basically, you know, he'll hand them over if, you know, he can get some sort of recreational time added on to his, you know, current period and a couple of smokes. And he obviously agreed. So then he went and got Sucre and he was questioning him. Basically, he was saying, look, if you don't hand it over, you are going to lose your visitation rights. You're not going to see your girlfriend. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. But he actually didn't. And Michael and Lincoln thought, yes, mate, we can trust him. When he went over, you know, to speak to him, he said, look, mate, because I've just lost all my rights, I want to use that phone whenever, you know what I mean, I want to. Now, Michael's got it out and snapped it and said, look, mate, it's not even real. But what is real is our escape. We need you. We need you on board. We're planning to get out of here. Now, he's flipped it, you know. He was like, look, I've got 16 months left on my sentence. I'm not going to be seen with a hole in the wall in my cell. You know, I get an extra 5 years. I don't want to escape, you know what I mean? I want to get married. I want to be with my girl. And he's actually requested a transfer. So he's actually moved out of his cell. And some other guy's been brought in, and this guy, he's been in the psych ward, and it turns out that he doesn't sleep either. You know what I mean? He's got something wrong with him where he actually never falls asleep. He does look a bit crazy, and now Michael obviously is going to be struggling trying to do this escape. Also, another thing that's interesting is, you know, T-Bag went to actually beat up Michael, pretty much. You know, he got a big massive knife. It was like, I don't know, like razors. It was crazy. And obviously John stepped in the way and ended up beating him up himself. John decided to take the approach of ABRUZZI. He was like, look, mate, you know, instead of actually going against Michael and trying to force him out the information, like we cut his toes off, how about we get him on our side? Do you know what I mean? If we become pally-pally, then we can both get out of here. He doesn't have to protest, I mean, you know, contest against us in court, and we will actually go down, and I'll be able to get outside these walls and escape myself. So it's a win-win for both of us, even though I dislike him. So that's going to be interesting to see how their relationship obviously progresses through it, because they started really bad, and now they both really badly need each other to get what they both need. So it's interesting. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you do enjoy it, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you do. And as always, let's jump into today's episode. Is he dreaming, you reckon?
Back. No, I'm not back. Wait. Please. Billy. Make your peace, Lincoln.
Mate, electrocution? Did he do that? I thought they'd just do like an injection now. That guy must know he's doing it then, surely. Oh no, he wasn't there.
Hey, Wire, you ever thought of breaking out?
Psych visits, meds, checking in with a PO, urine tests, keeping a job. Why you ask?
This guy was talking about it in the yard yesterday. I didn't know what to say.
Tell Officer Bellick. He'll make life easy for you. Tattoos. No. What are they, like some kind of a...
They're just tattoos.
Candy time, Haywire.
Take the pills, keeps the quacks off my back.
You know, maybe they give you those things for a reason.
You keep me dull. You mind if I, you know, look at the whole thing?
I do.
Why?
Go! Stand clear!
It's a secret.
Does there need to be a reason?
What's the problem?
Nothing I can't handle.
Well, I knew there was a problem. I could tell by looking at you. So what's the problem?
You're looking at it. It's my new cellmate.
You made me a promise. You said that we were going to get out of here to take care of your business. Or I will take care of you.
Listen, I have to say, I really appreciate all the effort that you put into this. I wish there was some way I could, you know, pay you or something.
My cellmate.
Unfortunately, unless there's some evidence of violence or sexual predation between cellmates, those kinds of requests fall on deaf ears around here.
Your wife is here.
She's not supposed to be here till 4 o'clock. Let her come in here under any circumstances. She's not supposed to see this until our anniversary. Let's go eat.
You're acting funny.
I am?
What's going on in there? This isn't Toledo all over again, is it?
Warden, I'm not gonna be able to cooperate. Johnson's still deciding.
Saved him there. Has he cheated on her before? But he sounds like he loved her hardcore last episode.
Well, you know how anxious I get when you come around the inmates.
Last time I saw you, you called me a liar.
Things have changed. I got in touch with Crab Simmons' ex-girlfriend, Letitia.
Will she testify?
She's missing. I don't know. I think the Secret Service got to her.
Do you know what we're up against?
I know it's a lot more than either of us can handle on our own.
Project Justice. Maybe you'll be enough to bring him on board. So, how's Sebastian?
The engagement's off.
Sorry.
You could at least say that like you mean it.
Thought that he would have looked at her hand and seen that she's not wearing a ring. That's why he might have mentioned it.
Veronica, thank you. I didn't have a whole lot left.
Ideal world, she'll win the case, but I think that what she's going to do is snoop deep, get killed, and he'll escape with Michael.
Pattern.
What did you say?
Your tattoo, it's a pattern.
You're seeing things.
But there's no way that he'd figure out it's a pattern of the...
Putting him in with Haywire is a low blow, Deputy.
He deserves punishment just as much as the rest of these guys.
You have been here long enough to know that I'm less interested in punishment than I am in rehabilitation. When I retire, I'm recommending you to take my place. All I'm saying is take another look at the Schofield situation.
Imagine a prison run by him. This guy here, this Pope guy, he actually seems like he is an alright person. So far, the way he's reacted and dealt with certain situations, it's not been in a punishment, like hardcore level. Like, you know, he actually, when he went out and stabbed and killed everyone, all he done is put it like on a lockdown, and he was basically saying what they're trying to do is help him and stuff. And, you know, and look at how he's treating certain situations, and then you look at this Bellic and the way he treats situations, and he's dropping, you know, Michael off to basically get attacked by John and stuff like that. And the thing is, he says that Michael's a violent criminal, but, like, let's be honest, if you looked at his case file, you would know that he's not a violent criminal. You would know that not one person was actually hurt or harmed. Okay, he might have been at a location with a gun and shot it off, but he never actually pointed it at somebody with the intent to shoot at them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't class him as a violent criminal compared to, like you say, his roommate who apparently killed both his parents. And also, you know, it's interesting to see that, well, basically I was saying that he was on the phone there, he's trying to speak to his girlfriend, and she's obviously not answering. But, like, they're in prison because they've done bad stuff, they kill people, and they deserve to be there. But also, as well, you got to feel a tiny, minuscule bit, like, for them in terms of that's their one thing that they look forward to, a person, somebody that gives them that bit of hope. Do you know what I mean? That gives them that little tick of life, and then when it doesn't come and they don't turn up, how bad do they feel inside? Do you know what I mean?
Wait, hold up. This is supposed to be an open visitation. Why are we doing it here? Ask your visitor.
She's not gonna be coming around here anymore.
Is she hurt?
No, she's fine, she's just, she's with me now. I'm not the one who's in prison. I actually can do something for her. She wanted me to stop back here and talk to you first, you know, in case you got mad. You just proved my point.
I mean, anybody would react like that on the outside as well, wouldn't they?
And that's all you'll ever be.
See, 16 months is a long time, but a short time. But, like, it's a long time when you see suffering in pain. Oh, right, that's quite clever, that, actually. You gotta say fair play to the creators for thinking about something like that.
Yeah, he's right in here.
Oh, by the way, how's the foot?
Oh, no way.
Don't ever go around meeting the Pope again.
You always get somebody like this, Bellic, honestly, you really do.
You know what, Haywire? I don't think we're gonna work out.
Crapped myself once in junior high. And so, I just started walking. And I tried to make fun of it. And I said, look, I have a tail. I just shared a secret with you. Now it's your turn.
I mean, his secret was well shit compared to his, pun intended.
No, but I know what to do.
Problem is, you don't got the Stugatz.
Is it a fight? Is that what it is? Basically, you're saying that if they have a fight or some sexual harassment, that's when they'll change.
Hello?
Maricruz, it's me. Baby, what the hell is going on?
When were you gonna tell me?
Tell you what?
That Rita Saldanha's been visiting you?
What?
Yeah.
Hector told you. Hector told you. Of course he told you. Baby, that guy's a snake.
I don't know what to believe.
Me, Mommy, believe me.
Yesterday I went to Teresa's house, saw her baby.
Think your clock is ticking?
Well, I'm gonna be 30 in a few years.
Get pregnant? Let's get pregnant right now.
Yeah, well, Hector says that if something goes wrong in there, that you could serve your full sentence. I can't wait 10 years, babe. I'm sorry, I gotta go.
So the way he's wormed his way in is he's told her that some other female's basically visiting him in prison, and obviously she's got, well, like, jealous / upset, and decided, right, if that's the case, then I'm just going to call it off and I'm just going to be with Hector. I'm going to choose happiness. Now, the thing is, would the prison give away some sort of signing records? You know what I mean? Could she turn up and say, look, can I just see who's been visiting my fiance? Surely you could do that. But then again, I don't know, it could be breach of data. I'm not too sure. Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one, that. I can see where she's coming from, but that guy is a proper snake.
Secret Service agent who came to visit you when Letitia was in your office.
You've got to understand, Ms. Donovan, unless there's new information you can provide for us, we've already reviewed Mr. Burroughs' case thoroughly.
I will do all of the legwork, Mr. Forsythe, but since I don't have any experience in death penalty cases, I'm just asking you to point me in the right direction.
This guy might help her. I feel like the guy in front of her might not.
I'm sorry.
I'm assuming she's trying to get an extension. This guy's going to follow her, though.
She's just leaving now. They got at least a half hour to get across town in this traffic.
We're not going to need nearly that much time.
I wonder if her fiance comes back.
I've turned up quite a bit already.
Do you know what's mad is how much a picture can mean to somebody? Do you know what I mean? To get them through the tough times or whatnot. Is he tying Michael up?
Get away from me. He's got a maze on his skin. Why would he do that?
I mean, you wouldn't put it together. You wouldn't. We can because we know what's happening, but it won't pop in your head. You know what I mean? Like, it'd just be totally random if someone guessed what that maze was about.
You were the first one to respond to Lincoln's apartment the night of the murder, right?
Oh, we went over to Burroughs' place. I took the bathroom. That's where I saw your client washing out the bloody pants.
In the report that you typed up that night, you said that you saw Lincoln standing in the bathroom, that's all. Your testimony factored into his conviction, you know that, right?
If you got any other questions, just go through the department.
Look, my boss may not think Lincoln's case is worth looking into, but I do.
I could tell he was interested.
That's a quicker way to take care of your problem.
He's not going to do that to him. Like, if he stabbed him, then he'd get moved out of his cell, wouldn't he? He'd probably get locked in confinement as well.
Penalty cases take 10 years to exhaust all appeals. Lincoln got there in 3. Given that Terrence Stedman is the vice president's brother, that's not too hard to believe. But how Lincoln got fast-tracked doesn't interest me. It's why. Why'd you wait till now to take up this case?
I thought he did it, like everybody else. I just hope it's not too late.
My father did 15 years for a crime he didn't commit. I know firsthand that when the government gets you in their crosshairs, you stand very little chance. Do you want my help?
I understand that sometimes some false people would get put inside, so like I can be framed for something that I didn't do, and then you could say like, how's that possible? Do you know what I mean? How have they sent the wrong person down? But it's not that. Yeah, that is a question of how is that possible. You shouldn't be sending the wrong person down. You shouldn't have corrupt people in there. Shouldn't be able to frame people and obviously make people like Lincoln look like they've done it when they've not. But at the end of the day as well, is how many people actually get took to court? How many people actually do get put away? It's more of the case that it's like when you're in work, for example. You know, you could do 100 things that are fantastic, and you do one negative, and everybody knows that negative. Do you know what I mean? You've done that one bad thing, it gets raised. Why have you done that? Why have you come in late today? Oh, but, you know, you care about today coming in late, but you don't care about every other day that I've worked here for the past 5 years doing 15 minutes overtime and never claimed for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you always notice the bad and not the good. So, like, I understand that, you know, sometimes innocent people go down, and I'm not saying that that's correct. But, like, the mass volume of people, and especially if it's somebody being framed in the way that Lincoln's is, you know what I mean, where it looks actually so real, you can kind of understand it in certain situations where it's hard to overturn when the evidence is obviously so well done and so planted.
I want back in.
Too late.
I'll do anything you need. You see these hands? The digging machine. You want to go to China? I'll get you to China. I'll dig like a psychotic rodent if I have to.
Van Gogh over there is my new cellmate.
But you're going to do something about it, right? You're going to get rid of him.
I'll do what's necessary.
Oh, boy.
I like you, Cray.
Schofield's father was out of the picture by the time he was born. Took his mother's maiden name.
Obviously, something's up.
All due respect, brothers are incarcerated together all over the country.
Move on the younger brother. Do it preemptively before anything rises up, bites any of us in the ass.
Where does it lead?
Where are you taking me?
All right, he's making it like he's hit him.
Are you nuts?
Officer! I need an officer!
The pathway on his body, it leads somewhere.
Back off, Haywire! He leads to hell! He leads to hell! That's your pathway to hell!
Gotta commit to it, Anya, Michael, do you know what I mean? He's had his toes cut off, he could bang his head against the cell door.
So the
Gang's all back together again. Ain't that swell?
You're back, man. Good to have you back.
How's that going to benefit him?
Hello.
What happened?
Caught an elbow playing basketball.
You know you're gonna get killed in here, right?
I'll make you a bet. When I get out of here, I'll take you to dinner.
This charm act is exactly what's getting you into trouble out in the yard.
All right, you went to the parking garage. Terrence Stedman is already dead. You saw that, you ran.
Dumped the gun.
Nobody ever found it.
Was freaking out trying to figure out what had happened. Saw the bloody pants in the tub.
If he didn't touch them.
A minute after I got there.
Police, let's see your hands! Hands up!
Right. So I was going to say his DNA.
Gun. The one you said you dumped.
It was planted. It's the only way I could have got there. Bo had me come around the night before. Tried a few guns, see which one felt right. One of those.
Yeah, that's well smart.
That's how they got my fingerprints on the gun.
Right, the only interesting thing about that is I've got to say I'm glad that that's addressed, because did I not pick that up like maybe 2 episodes ago? I said something like the bullet that shot that guy in the car, when they found the gun that Lincoln was holding, how could they, the people that shot it, be certain that the exact gun that Lincoln was with had the same shell that went inside of it? Like, that was what I was saying, because every gun has a different shell and you could tell which one was fired. And if you listen to this one, the gun that Lincoln was held in possession pointing at him was thrown away and it was never found. So obviously somebody's recovered it, and the actual one was then planted in his place with his fingerprints on, like he's just said there, from the setup the night before, and that's how they made it. I'm happy that that's been addressed, because that's something that I just raised, and I do love it when you ask questions and then later down the line you get the answers to them.
If Lincoln's telling the truth and that tape is lying.
You would have to put it in super slow motion to see where a frame moves.
If the chemicals can't eat through the iron pipes, how come they can't eat through the toothpaste too?
It's only when the chemicals are combined that they become a corrosive.
But what you're doing up there in the infirmary...
Through this wall is just the beginning. There's a whole lot of real estate in between here and the outside wall. And the weakest link in the security chain.
Keep saying that it's the weakest link, but how is it? Can you just like make it from one window to the outside wall easily?
I'm gonna need you to make some noise.
There you go. He's just in full-on scared mode. I don't blame him.
Not one more word! Next inmate that opens his mouth goes in the hole!
Everything all right? Couldn't be better. What's this? That is a transfer request. The Schofield is getting shipped out tomorrow.
That's really smart, actually, isn't it? That is actually smart from these guys. I'm assuming this is the end. Yeah, really interesting. So, like, usually we've seen these guys full on make it obvious that they're involved, in my personal opinion. And I've said it a couple of times. They've turned up and I'm like, look, mate, you know, people are questioning things, and then these guys arrive, it just raises your suspicion and believe that, you know, maybe there's something is deeper going on. It's not just what speculation, do you know what I mean? So, like, these coming here, they obviously killed the person last episode. Nobody's really found the body yet. And obviously, Veronica, she's now part of Lincoln's team. She's got somebody else on the side as well, actually. Basically, she went to people... did she go to get somebody to try and do an extension on his time? So obviously, he's got like 60 days left to live, but she wanted to go in there and she wanted to prolong that, you know, get a couple more months or something so that she can look further into the evidence. Because basically what she was trying to say is, look, mate, you know, I've only been on this case a couple of days and I've been finding all this different information. Yes, I haven't given any information currently different to what you've heard, but, you know, there's different accounts and certain situations that are a bit strange that we have to look into. So, like, even though you already knew about them, did you know the way it went down? Did you know the weird stuff around it? You know what I mean? You might know the outcome, but how did you get to that outcome? That is the question. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, I raised a question about the gun and the bullet and, like, how could they be so certain it was obviously Lincoln's gun that shot it when he was dead prior to him arriving? Addressed that in today's episode, saying that he went to pick 2 different guns up. They've obviously framed him from the night before, and then obviously when he threw his away, somebody must have been tracking him and chased it and got it. Again, you've got this cop who's give 2 types of different reports as well. You know, he said the first time he ran in and Lincoln was just there washing himself or something. The second time he come in, he seen him touching and cleaning the pants. We obviously heard from Lincoln that he didn't actually touch them, so his DNA should technically not be on them. Which, again, I mean, I don't know how much that would kind of help you in terms of if somebody come into my house now and it was jeans in the bath full of blood of somebody that just got killed next door, for example, and I was saying, well, my fingerprints are not on them. It's like, well, the guy's dead and they're in your house. I think, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit hard, and then especially when you can't testify that you was innocent when you got all this other evidence pointing towards you. You know what I mean? It just kind of puts a nail in the coffin, doesn't it, with that one? But when you say first to the scene, that cop, and then when you watch the clip, when the door opens, you had him and two behind him. So, like, technically not first on the scene. Like, you might have been the first out of the three people stood in the line, but all three of you was there at the same time. And I wonder if all of their statements account to the same. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I would do. I would go back and I would get every one of them in who give me a statement 3 years ago or whatever, because that's what they said it took. You know, usually it takes 10 years to give somebody the death penalty and get rid of all the you know, people that could potentially help you or whatnot. But now they're saying it was like fast tracked and it was 3 years, and maybe that is okay because, you know, it's somebody obviously related to the vice president, so it's kind of understandable. But I'll still go back and question them and seeing everybody's statements match up, because you can lie right now, but in 3 years, can you remember? Can you remember 2 weeks ago what you just said? Because I can't. You know what I mean? You can remember vague situations and scenarios, but like you could easily get a couple of details, key bits wrong as well. And then obviously, again, that's more information that you've got to try and help Lincoln. Okay, that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you've not yet been watching the full episodes, links are in the description. It is free as well, so just put the password in and enjoy. In today's episode, you know, Michael was getting rid of his old roommate. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Sucre left because he didn't want any more time had he done. But now, you know, you got Hector coming in, bragging how he's stealing his girl, you know, how he's, you know, a better man than him and he can't offer him nothing but prison. And, you know, now when he's actually rang her and had a conversation, you know, you can see that this Hector's just manipulating the situations. He's telling lies. He's obviously making Sucre sound even worse than, well, he currently is, you know, the position anyway, and making her feel bad and, you know, making him look like the glowing god. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can offer you what he can, and manipulating the situation to make him be in a position where she needs him over over Sucre. So that's interesting, because then once that actually happened, I knew that he was going to be back in. You know, I said that's what I kind of predicted a couple of episodes back, like it'd be something to do with her that would actually bring him in. Now, I know 16 months is a long time, and it's also a short time, you know what I mean? Like, 16 months from now in prison feels like a lifetime away, but so is 10 years. 10 years will feel like an absolute killer. And it's like, you know, can you sit and wait the 16 months to be out for the rest of your life? Or, you know, do you risk it and get out right now? But if you get caught, you're done for forever. Do you know what I'm saying? But he's obviously put his love on the line. He hardcore loves his girlfriend, his fiance, whatever, and he wants to marry her, and he's willing to get out now. So Michael's obviously gone into a position where he's manipulated a scenario where it looks like his roommate's been beating him, after obviously the conversation that he had with Pope was basically saying, you know, the prison system's got so many people in there, you know, we can't really pick and select roommates, you know, unless somebody's physically harming you or sexually abusing you, then we can't really change anybody. And then obviously he's gone in and banged his head. He was getting close as well, you know, he figured out his tattoo was a map, he kept drawing it, he had the symbols, it looked decent. You know, it kind of helped Michael, because when he was actually trying to figure it out, he thought that it was a pathway to hell, which obviously makes him sound crazy. And the way obviously Michael was banging his head against the, you know, the door as well, and they've come over, it's just emphasised, you know, the guy's kind of craziness, to be honest, and they've grabbed him and taken him away, which now is obviously giving him Sucre back, who they can actually work. You know, he utilised him really well there to create a bit of noise, so he could kick that, obviously, stone, and he can get through. So that's enough for today in, you know, in his digging. He's managed to make it through. Maybe tomorrow he can get out, he can have a venture around, he can see where these pathway leads. You know, he's has been in the doctors, you know, if he's called Sarah, he's been in there, you know, he squirted these chemicals down, something that can actually melt through metal. It seemed like he was basically saying, you know, in these two compartments they're okay, but it's when the components react it starts melting through. And they keep saying it consistently that her office is basically the closest way, it's the weakest link in the prison system for them to actually get out. So I'm expecting that maybe he's going to try and work his magic and try and get her on his side, so that maybe if they do escape he can somehow get access to her room, and then maybe that's the way that they can get out. Not too sure. I've not seen the distance between her kind of facility to like the outside wall. I'm expecting him to either run through a tunnel or go over a wall. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So like, it's going to be interesting what they actually do. You know, basically this whole episode was Michael working his magic, wasn't it? And then obviously telling us a bit of Sucre's story to get him back in, so his team escaped. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go. Thanks for checking out today's episode. If you did enjoy it, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.